Welcome back. Unless you are new, then welcome. Let us talk about why you should maybe start with Epic Warpath in 2026. I will give you some points why I think you should start this game in the upcoming year. This is my personal preference, so feel free to add points you are also thinking about. Number one, as I already mentioned in the last video, Epic Warpath is a new tabletop miniatures game released in 2025, so now is the best time to start with the wargame and join the community. It is growing and hopefully we will get some events in the next year. Point number one, the rules. As I also mentioned in the last video, you will get all the rules, all you need to play in this one rulebook. There is no need to buy another book. So in this Epic Warpath rulebook, you will find all the rules for the game and also all the profiles for all the factions that are available at the moment and all their units in the second part of the book. So you have all in one place for the game to start with it. Also, I want to mention the rules itself because what is very interesting is the round sequence. You have the typical things like movement or combat phase. But what is really interesting here, you activate units not all from your side, but in an alternate activation. So you activate one of your units, then your opponent, and so on, unless all units are activated. But with the interesting thing, you don't activate like in, let's say, War Machine, where you activate a unit, you move with it and shoot with it, take close combat action and so on, and then activate your next unit. The thing here with Epic Warpath is in the movement phase, for example, the first player activates one of his units, moves them, and then the second player moves one of his units, and so on, back and forth, until all units have moved that can be activated in this phase, if you want. So you have the possibility to see over one round what your opponent is doing with his movements, and you can react, and so can he. And next thing is the miniatures. Because of the epic scale, there is maybe a different style of miniatures you can find here when you already played games like in 28 millimeters or so. Then you maybe find here a different scale that is interesting for you. In my case, I find it very easily to paint these miniatures in this small scale, so it is very easy to finish a big army in a short amount of time. And when we have spoken about big armies, this is another point. As you can see here on the back, you have a lot of miniatures on the battlefield, and this looks a lot different from other games in like 28 millimeters, where you have not this much of miniatures on the battlefield. This makes it different, a different feel, a different look on the battlefield also. And from my opinion, from my side, it looks very cool when you take a look on this picture, when you have so much small miniatures on the battlefield. I have already mentioned here the miniatures, and here you can see my built and primed Forge Fathers. And this is a lot of stuff you can find in only one core box. What brings me a little bit to the products that are available at the moment. So for sure you need the rulebook. You can find this itself or in the 2-player starter set, what brings you 2 whole armies in one pack, what is very, very cool. But also you can find the same things in the core sets. For example, these are the miniatures of the core set from the Forge Fathers. As we can see here on the spruce underneath, there are some miniatures left, so I haven't built all of them, but Still, this is a full army you can build around 2,000 to 3,000 points, what is more than enough to play a full game of Epic Warpath. So this means you can buy one of these boxes. In this case, this is the Core Army pack of the Asterians in not the retail packaging. This looks way cooler when you check it out. But here in one of these small boxes, you will find in general 6 sprues of miniatures. And this builds, as we can see here, a full army, and all of these 6 sprues from every of the available factions build one army of around 2,000 plus points. Here in these cases, I tested a little bit around with these forge fighters, and it was very easy to build an army with 2,000 points. And what I have seen also, it is maybe possible, and I will check this out later in another video, but I think we can easily build here 3,000 points, maybe more, with only this one core army set. So this makes it very easily to start with the game, because you buy this one set, or the 2-player starter set was what in general brings you the rulebook, the tokens, and 2 of these core army packs. In this case of the 2-player starter set, it's Enforcers and the Plague, and you have all you need for 2 players for 2 fully 2,000 plus points of armies. And also with this set, the game is at the moment not overwhelming. So you have the rulebook with all the rules you need for the game. We will also check out the army builder and how you build armies in the future. You can do this here with the book, because you have all the profiles in it with the points for the different units. But you also have an online army builder. Then you have the core army packs, what brings you all you need for the 2,000 to 3,000 points. All you need to play a game, and then you will also find the reinforcement packs that are at the moment available as STLs, so you can print it, or you can order them from Mantic Games, I think. But what I have seen, some of the stores, the retailers, also list them for 2026. And these are all the products you can get at the moment for the game, and is more than enough what you need. And you have also the single packs of the super heavies if you will play with bigger miniatures also on your battlefield. But this is all you have at the moment for the game, and is, as I said, more than enough to play the game and have a lot of variants for your different armies. Also for the armies, what is interesting at the moment, you will find only 4 different factions at the moment, but 4 more are on the way. So if you start now with one of the 4 available armies, you can then later expand with a second army, which is not available at the moment. So you don't think about it, and later on you can start with list building for your second army if you are interested in some of these new factions that will come in the future. If you have already started with Epic Warpath, let us know in the comments down below which faction have you chosen.